Uh-huh. I'm sorry? I'll make some I'm gonna make some chia tonight. Hello.
Howdy.
Hey. Trying to get everything up and ready on my end.
I am. Oh, I think I'd said to Pippa like 15 minutes early, so she's probably not gonna be here for 5 minutes.
Yeah, I just want to make sure everything was gonna. Hang on a second. Leah's yelling at me. Like Eggos or something? Let me see. And I have got many screens open. Let me see.
Are you planning on streaming to YouTube or Facebook?
Facebook.
Last time, say what?
You go ahead. Go ahead.
So we've done YouTube for all of last year.
Mhm.
Just last month, I tried Facebook just to see if that had more activity, anything like that. I don't. I mean, I think. So I think that was That was an interesting experiment. Maybe there was some more activity.
I mean, how
but
are we directing people to either of these things?
we're not really telling anybody to watch it except that because I'm this recording button.
Going to.
I think someone needs to mute themselves. I'm hearing a lot of echo.
Yeah, someone's giving me an echo feedback. I mean, I guess I could use my dictatorial powers and mute everybody, but
I'll work on that.
okay. Why did that just advance? Okay. And apparently I need to.
Last thing I think, Jared, is you're going to just try to get that live stream going, right?
That's yes.
All right.
Let's see.
Yeah. Okay.
Welcome to everyone whose name has not been explicitly called out. We are glad you're here.
Yes.
All right, we are about to go live on Facebook for anyone who wants to just watch us there.
Yeah, get a 2-screen experience going, you know. Exact same thing, one delayed, but double the excitement.
Oh, there we are. Oh. I guess I should have done this a couple minutes ago. Okay.
Someone from the band, tell me, what song did y'all prepare this month? I think y'all worked on 2, but only one of them is showing today, right?
We did Brave by Sarah Bareilles. Yeah.
And I haven't watched it yet.
Ah.
Preview for, or a premiere for me too.
We are live on the Facebook.
We are live. So here I'm going. Let me see. Okay, everyone. Welcome to Sunday Assembly Atlanta. Sunday Assembly. Our topic this month is improv, from this lovely picture of people who are not in our assembly and have no idea that we're using their images to promote ourselves. That's what they get for being public domain. Sunday Assembly is a secular community without deity, dogma, or doctrine. Our motto is to live better, help often, and wonder more. And we are glad that everyone is here for our get together today, including our speaker, Pippa Evans, coming to us from all the way across the ocean from with the magic of the internet. So we're going to kick off with a quick song from the band. So let me get over there and make sure that you can hear it. Yes.
You can be amazing, you can turn a phrase into a weapon or a drug. You can be the outcast or be the backlash of somebody's lack of love. Or you can start speaking up. Nothing's gonna hurt you the way that words do, and they settle neath your skin. Left on the inside and no sunlight, sometimes the shadow wins. I wonder what would happen if you say what you wanna say and let the words fall out. Honestly, I wanna see you be brave with what you wanna say and let the words fall out. Honestly, I wanna see you be brave. Just wanna see you. I just wanna see you. Just wanna see you. I wanna see you be brave. Just wanna see you. I just wanna see you. Just wanna see you. See you be brave. Everybody's been there, everybody's been stared down by the enemy. Falling for the fear and dust disappearing. Bow down to the mighty. Don't run. Stop holding your tongue. Maybe there's a way out of the cage where you live. Maybe one of these days you can let the light in. Show me how big your grave is. Say what you wanna say and let the words fall out. Honestly, I wanna see you be brave with what you wanna say and let the words fall out. Honestly, I wanna see you be brave. And since your history of silence won't do you any good, did you think it would? Let your words be anything but empty. Why don't you tell them the truth? Say what you wanna say and let the words fall out. Honestly, I wanna see you be brave with what you wanna say and let the words fall out. Honestly, I wanna see you be brave. Just wanna see you. I just wanna see you. Just wanna see you. I wanna see you be brave. Just wanna see you. I just wanna see you. Just wanna see you. See you be brave. Just wanna see you. I just wanna see you. Just wanna see you. I just wanna see you. I just wanna see you. Just wanna see you.
All right. Everyone thank the band. Clap emojis, whatever we need. Hold on. Let me. All right. Next, we're going to where'd I go? Next, we're going to yield the floor to Giselle, reading a poem called Improvisation by Jean Bleakney. Giselle, I'm going to spotlight you there.
Okay. It's funny as you said that, my phone started ringing. I'm like, oh, perfect timing. Okay, so the poem is titled Improvisation. For a lucky few, it arrives on a plate. Some go at it like a bull at a gate. Get it all down, then reevaluate, or not. Others sit and wait. Sadly, some don't know the meaning of momentum. Some cast a phrase like bait, or a seed that might germinate. Some procrastinate, some translate. Some, like the Pope in a weaker moment, beat their pate. Some self-flagellate. In other words, some need a drink to lubricate. Some need a crate. Some need chocolate. Some gorge on their poetry and ruminate productively. Some interrogate the canon. Some regurgitate. Some over-lubricate with dictionaries. Some wax laminate. Some like to tell it straight. Some circumambulate. Some need a template. Some set out to obfuscate. The critics reciprocate, sensing the need to speculate and accumulate. Some self-deprecate, inadvisable and inspiring poet laureate. Some fear they punch beneath their weight. Some think their poems vindicate their otherwise profitless and profligate existences. Some successfully amalgamate mercurial thought processes, a job and a mate. Some are easier to domesticate than others. Though few are home by 8, some rarely stray beyond the garden gate. Some emigrate, but all aspire to that river in spate and its silvery salmon counterrate. All desire its bottleable, light concentrating distillate, and yet how often that fizzling urge to create, unscrewed, it's destined to decarbonate. Similarly, should the muse deflate, the flow, slow for some, the would-be poem is become a sluggish vein the poet must legate. Often when the hour is late, whereupon the neurogenic factor 8, let's say the words coagulate. And that's the end.
Thank you, Giselle. Sorry, what am I doing here? I just tried to unpin Giselle. Is everyone seeing Giselle on their screen huge still, or
We're seeing you.
you're seeing me? Okay. All right. Okay. Next, I'm going to welcome. Well, first off, we want to remind everyone we have an event called Life Happens, where you can update us on what's going on in your life, and we will read those out later. You can do it anonymously or personally if you wish. I'm going to pop that link back into the chat for anyone who just came in recently, where you can go to the form and fill out what's going on in your life with us right now. Next, I want to introduce our speaker for the evening is Pippa Evans, who we should all know and be thankful for because she is a co-founder of Sunday Assembly. Woo! Okay. Everyone applaud. Okay. She's the author of the recently released book, Improv Your Life, An Improviser's Guide to Embracing Whatever Life Throws at You, which is currently available from Book Depository, which I'm going to throw up that link in the chat as well, so everyone can have a look.
Hey, Jared, I accidentally muted you when I was trying to let somebody in the, so you need to unmute yourself, Jared.
Okay. All right. Okay. So I believe I was saying that
I'll share the link to the book.
our speaker, actually, I've got it right here. There it is. Okay. I just shared the link to our speaker's new book that just came out. She is a core member and assistant artistic director of Showstopper, the improvised musical. She's worked as a dramaturg on 9 to 5, the musical, and wrote a mini musical for Jack Whitehall's Christmas special. She also works on non-performance projects like Perspectiva, a space for us to think about how we think about the world. We're going to have a Q&A after the talk, but just to kind of speed things up, since Pippa is coming to us from way past her bedtime, if anyone has questions, please feel free to insert them in the chat, and then I will moderate those afterward. But without further ado, I'm going to welcome Pippa Evans.
Hello, everybody. What a joy to be here. Thank you for having me. Wow, what an introduction, Jared. So beautifully read. So I've done lots of different things, but as Jared said, I was a co-founder of this crazy thing you all do called Sunday Assembly. So me and Sanderson were in a car one day. You've probably all heard this story a million times, and we Diane's shaking her head. I haven't told this story for about 2.5 years, so maybe I'll do it now. Sanderson and I were both stand-up comedians, and we were in a car going to a gig, and I'm always insistent that everyone knows I was headlining and he was in the middle spot. And we were just talking about how we could see that the church had a great value for people that went to it, but isn't it a shame if you don't believe in God, if you don't believe in God, but you recognize how powerful community is, and also that we want to talk about life and these big things. And we were like, I've always wondered what church would be like if you just took out the God bit. And then we just decided to do it. So in a sense, Sunday Assembly itself was an improvised idea, because two people, one person said it and the next person said yes, and let's have a go. And if you know improvisation, and I know in Atlanta you've got great improvisation. I've got friends at Dad's Garage or Garage. I don't know how you say it in American, but in English we say garage, Dad's Garage or Dad's Garage. So you're really lucky. What a great resource you've got in improv comedy. But improvisation, and my book is all about how improv is a great life skill. And some people are put off it because improv comedy is so strong, and that's how we know it from shows like, Whose Line Is It Anyway on the telly, and those two guys on Netflix, the names have just gone out, Middleditch and Swartz, sorry, the names just popped out of my head because it's late over here, it's 10 to 11 at night. So there's a comedy, but actually, and that might make people think, oh, I can't improvise because I'm not funny and I'm not quick like that. But that is only one tiny way to improvise. Another way we improvise is jazz, of course. We all know jazz can be improvised. But it's like, if I tried to improvise jazz on my guitar, I'd be rubbish because I'm not good enough at my guitar. So it'd be like, yeah, you're right, Pippa, don't become a jazz improviser. The jazz community will not be grateful to you turning up with the 3 chords that you can play on your guitar. But the principles are the same. The principles are accept and build, listen, be with what is happening, and fly with the moment, co-create something beautiful, bigger than what you would have done if you'd just been on your own. So it really is a skill that I think we need right now, particularly a skill that we need to foster. We're in a time where we don't know what's going to happen. We just don't know what's going on politically. We don't know what's going on with climate change. I mean, there's lots of big questions about, which means we have to be with the moment, and we have to be willing to be imaginative with our creations, how we're going to answer things, how we're going to co-create the future rather than try and find the superhero who's going to fix it all. It's like, no, we all need to be part of that. And that's a very scary thing if you've never been a co-creator, if you've never been part of something bigger than yourself. Improvisation also talks to that. It talks to this strain that is between I and we. I often talk about that as we want to bring our full selves into a space, but we also need to be making sure we're making space in that space. So how can I possibly be my full self in a space and be making space for everyone else? Well, it takes a lot of this agile approach, making sure that we're always being fluid, making sure that we're always in that moment, noticing what we're doing, what's being offered, noticing which way we want to go, how we want to accept and build. So accept and build is a massive thing. Most people who've done improvisation will know this phrase, yes and. It's known as yes and. I prefer the phrase accept and build, because sometimes the phrase yes and gets confused with I must agree with everything, otherwise everyone will hate me. Actually, it's that we have to accept what is happening and then build from there. So it might be that we have to say no to something, but as long as we're in agreement about what is happening, the word no is a yes, because we're saying no, because we're going to say, no, we're not going to go in that direction. We're going to go in this direction. It's only a block. Again, a lovely improv phrase. Are you being blocky? Are you a blocker? It's only a block if you're saying no and offering no alternative, no other direction. So you can yes and by saying no. What? That's right. That's my big, if you take anything home with you today, it's that. Yes, a no is a yes to yourself. No is a yes to moving the right way. I just wanted to say, actually, Sunday Assembly, Atlanta, of course, you are responsible in a sense for this book being written. Boop, boop, because, and I've literally written Marla Dufek in the bottom there. Oh, where can you see it? Maybe not. Da, da, da. Because it was Marla who I did a improv class at the Sunday Assembly. Was it 2015, 14, when we were in Atlanta? I can't remember. What a date. 15. And Marla, afterwards, Marla said, you should really write this stuff down because it'll be really good. And I said, yes, you're right, I should. And then I didn't do it for 7 years. So thank you. It's a point there about things, some things take time, don't they? Some things take time. So I just want to talk about a definition of improvisation. Some people define improv as making things up on the spot. And I think a more useful definition, and if you can take this definition with you, would be working with what is available to us in the moment. And it's a very different way of saying exactly the same thing. And it's one of those things where you go, oh, wow, that feels completely different, because it's about, really checking in with what have I got available to me? What resources have I got right now? Someone's asked me to do something. Who are the people I can work with? What are the skills I have? What are the skills I don't have? And I need to find a way to fill those gaps. What confidence have I got? So checking in with what we have available to us in this moment, because we always have something, because we always have ourselves. So when we talk about accepting and building and yes anding, we have to make sure that we're working with ourselves as well. Am I listening to myself? Am I listening to my gut? Yeah, improv is trusting your skill and your gut. Notice what your own offers are. And of course, the last year has been an improvised year. You've all been, so one of the things I like to say is, I just want you to know that you're already improvisers, because the pandemic didn't give us a choice to not be improvisers. So everybody in this call has had to improvise something. So everyone has either lost work, we've had to homeschool children, we've had to change our jobs, we've had to take on new jobs, we've had to go and do some volunteering, we've had to move house, whatever it is. I'm sure you can all think of something where you've actually had to improvise, you've had to look to what was available to you in that moment and work with that. We had to accept a situation, the pandemic, we had to accept that situation and then build with it. So again, I come back to this idea that improvisation is always a positive, boop, 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 we're having a party kind of thing. Actually, no, sometimes we have to accept offers that are not particularly pleasant, because we have to accept what is happening. We can't, it's not about making make-believe, it's about accepting what is going on and building on that. So really noticing and accepting. Every time that thing rings, I want to go, hello, but I won't. Well, I could. Hello, who is that? Who's at the door? So if I could give you 3 improv tips, and we'll get on to questions very soon. If I could give you 3 improv tips to take with you for the rest, like even if you just took them for the next month as ideas of things to focus on. The first one would be hold ideas lightly. So this is what happens when we're in an improvised scene. So my background is improvised musical theatre, improvised comedy. So I do use that as a reference point. But if we're in an improvised scene, we might come into a scene. I might come into a scene and I think, okay, we're going to do a scene about a queen and her castle. Okay. And then the person in the scene opposite me says, hello, madam, 3 apples, please. And I think, oh no, they want me to be a market seller or something. So they want something completely different. And in that moment, I can either fight to try and be the queen. I don't know what you mean. I'm the queen of this castle. it's a bit icky because I'm sort of denying what the actual offer is. Actually, I have to drop my idea in that moment, in that scene. And so hold that idea lightly, drop it, and go with what is happening. So holding ideas lightly, it doesn't mean we can't plan for things. It just means that when things are changing, as they inevitably will this year, as we're going through all this vaccine stuff, like where are we doing, what are we opening up, are we washing our hands or not? I hope you are all washing your hands. Hold your ideas lightly. The second one is follow your obvious. Okay, follow your obvious. And this is so important because we often drop our obvious because we don't trust ourselves. So what do I mean by that? I'll show you. If I say the word orange, what's the word you think of? Put it in the chat. What's the word you think of? If I say the word orange, what's the word you think of? Just chuck it in the chat there. I've got a banana, great. Sherbet, traffic cone, cool, sweet. Orange, another orange, yeah, fine. Orange meets orange. Naranja, nice. Yeah, bowl fruit, apples, fruit, color, fruit. Brilliant. Okay, so the point is, these are all correct. Some of them are different, some of them are the same, but they're all correct because that was you following your obvious. So it's really important that we trust our own idea rather than say, wait for someone else's idea and see if that's better. You know, can we follow our own obvious? That's actually where we get really good ideas. And sometimes we don't follow our obvious because we think it's too obvious. But as we can see from this list of things, our obvious is often not what someone else's obvious is. So as long as we follow our obvious, we will find our own way. Are we following our true path, or are we trying to wait for someone else to tell us what to do? However, we can only follow our obvious if we also are curious at all times. We're curious. We're curious about what's happening. So we're actually following the obvious through knowledge. So we're not just following kind of a naive idea in the sense that we haven't done our work. So we've got to be curious to follow our obvious. And I'm going to add one more because I think I said 3, but what I meant was 4. So I'm following my obvious by following the numbers that exist. I'm curious. 1, 2, 3, 4 is the 4th. Is we have to be willing to fail. So we have to be willing to fail. If we're going to follow our obvious, we have to be willing to say, that's not working. Let's go back and recalibrate. So that would be, those are all things that we have to do in improvisation. So in improvisation, we learn on stage by failing in front of hundreds of people in the audience. We have to follow our instincts to create a scene and find some humor in it. And we have to hold our ideas lightly. So let me offer you those as some tips for the rest of the year. I'm just going to read a page from my book, and then we'll do some questions, Jared, if you're kind of ready for that. But I just wanted to read this last bit from my book for you. When you go for a walk in the park, through fields or any green space, there are these little paths where you can see many people have realized it makes more sense to walk in a certain direction rather than follow the council's approved way. The grass is worn and a new path has been created. Humans have improvised a new route by following their obvious and placing one foot in front of the other. These tracks are known in planning circles as desire paths. The people act out their desire and a new lane is made. Often, councils will incorporate them into the official path system during their next tidy up, recognizing that the people have spoken. Some councils will do everything that they can to try to stop people going off the official track. Red and white tape, fencing, keep off the grass signs. Yet we persevere, though some may tut, because we know it makes no sense to follow the prescribed path, the path that was created perhaps without consultation, a path made for aesthetics rather than practicality. We need to question our paths, to find our own desire paths. If we are onto something, others will follow. My deepest hope is that you find your voice, speak up for yourself and for others, and you see positive change in tiny ways that forge a new path, a path you didn't know you wanted to follow, but seems completely obvious once you're there. May improvisation give you the courage to take your space in the world, forge your path, and follow your obvious into new and exciting places right on your doorstep. We have an abundance inside of us. When we are able to access our abundance, we realize the riches in the world were inside us all along. Keep shifting the edge of your comfort zone. Expand it inch by inch until you find the real boundaries rather than those that were bestowed upon you. We have no idea what's going to happen globally in the next 5 years, let alone 50, which means we need to be ready to adapt, to accept change and know ourselves inside out. We need to be ready to speak with our neighbours, to move forward even when in conflict, and find different ways to approach new and repeating issues. We need to be able to do all these things whilst laughing, dancing, and embracing the fullness of life in all its messy glory. Improv is the art of being okay when the plan takes an unexpected turn. Improv is the art of trusting your skills and your gut. Improv is the art of knowing yourself and being able to work in relationship with others. Improv is the art of failing forwards by embracing and reframing wisdom that appears in the form of a mistake. Improv is the art of yes and no and all that lies between. Improv is being able to leave the space and know you've given all you can to that moment. Improv is celebrating the brilliance of others without feeling that it diminishes your own. Improv is a world that is accessible to all, embracing of fear and full of hope. For without hope, we cannot improvise. Everything you need is inside yourself. It just takes a while to find it. Thank you. Let's do some questions, Jared.
Thank you. Great to have you here. Our first question is from Ross, who asks, how does it feel to have written a book?
Yeah, it feels amazing because I'll tell you what, I've worked as a performer and comedian for 15 years. And I've done 9 solo shows, but I've never held anything I've created before. So I've done stuff, I've got reviews and all those other things, but I've never had something I could put on my shelf and say, you made that. So that's very nice to know that. And then I've reread it as well and gone, no, I do agree with myself. My fear was I'd write it and then go, what the hell are you blabbing on about? But actually, yeah, I'm very proud of it. So I'm really glad. And it came about just as we had our first lockdown. As you know, we're a big fan of lockdowns in the UK, so we're having several of them. And the first one came, and because I'm a performer, all my work went. But then this book publisher got in touch and said, would you like to write a book about improv? And I said, woo, that is amazing. So saved my life in a sense as well, that book, because it paid my bills.
Yeah. Here's a comment from Brandon. He just says, thanks for elaborating on your interpretation of yes and.
You're welcome, Brandon. Anytime.
This is from Marla and Andy, who ask, what do you see as the most helpful daily practice one can engage in to help in this domain?
Oh, like a daily practice, like a daily exercise to do?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's a really interesting question. And I think, again, it probably depends on you as a person, like what you need. I mean, you're a pair. So if you're living with someone, and again, obviously I'm in England where we're not allowed to talk to anybody at the moment. So I've got my husband here, but I've got a lot of people living by themselves. So if you're in a pair, I think one of the best games you can play is yes and word association games. So to play yes and, all you do is you make a statement to your partner. Also, if you have kids love playing this game. You go like, let's build a house. That could be your statement. So it's a statement to start. And then the other person says, yes, and it'll have a roof. And the other person says, yes, and the roof will be made of gold. And then this person says, yes, and the gold, we could take it off and we'll sell it to the bank. And they'll say, yes, and the bank will give us £1 million. And they say, yes, we'll spend the £1 million on a massive yacht, whatever it is. So you just play yes and it helps you expand and expand. And you get to these moments where you go, oh, I don't know what it is. And you just have to push yourself through those. And you realize that there's always actually somewhere further you can go. It goes crazy, of course. But that's the point of it, is to go show you how big you can get if you're working in an agreement. And then the other one is the word association, which is literally what I did then. So you can play it with 2 people. You can play word association with yourself. You can play yes and with yourself. But word association is literally going orange, fruit, bowl, cereal, Frosties, tiger, great, super, smashing, glass, broken. Okay, great. So you can play these games by yourself. You'll feel a bit cuckoo, but it's all right.
Here's a question from Laura who asks, can you do pre-prep for improv?
Well, I suppose again, Laura, it depends what you're doing, doesn't it? So even when you walk into a scene, you have a vague idea of something you might offer. Like I say, hold ideas lightly. So you practice your exercise, you do your exercises. It's often compared to football, you learn your skills. When I say football, I mean soccer. You do your knee ups, and you practice kicking a ball, and you do your push-ups, everything. But once you go on the field, you don't know what's going to happen. So if you're doing your exercises, then you're prepped. But if you mean more like, I don't know. So for example, I'm in an improvised musical. I spend a lot of time listening to musicals. That's my pre-prep. I think if that's not answered it, or put a further question in the box.
Okay. This is a steering off to the new topic. From Paulina Adam, are asking, were you surprised that Sunday Assembly has spread across so many cities, and how does that make you feel?
Yeah, I mean, it was a big shock. We thought the first one, we put out like 40 chairs because we thought maybe 40 people might come, and we had our fingers crossed, but most of our friends even had said, probably not going to come. And then, 200 people or so descended upon the place where we had it. We had to find, and it was like a school, like a primary school. So the only chairs we could find were these like tiny little kids. So there's all these big grown-ups sat on tiny chairs. But it was really fun. In fact, I have a picture of the first one right literally next to me because I'm very proud of it. But and then people just emails came from everywhere saying, we want this. And then we sort of worked with lots of different people. Again, we were like, we don't know what we're doing. So we found like Mark McCurgo, who runs Sunday Assembly Edinburgh. We're like, you seem to know some stuff about creating networks of people. And we found other people who sort of knew a bit more about that stuff. And so it was born. And so I left about 2.5 years ago now. And I've literally only just sort of come back in, because when you're like a co-founder or something, you do need to make a big gap, otherwise you'll get sucked back in again. So having that big gap was really good, because now I've come back in and be like, wow, it still exists. Everyone's doing their own thing. This is cool. And everyone I've gone to so far, I've only been to 3. It was like, wow, all these all these people doing their own thing, and they're all a little bit different, which is what we wanted. We were like, oh, people need to do their own thing. We can't be in charge of this. We can't be in charge of this. You want to see the picture again? Was it?
Yes. Yeah.
Mike. It's London. Yeah, that's me there playing a guitar, like I think I'm Brian May, and then that's Sanderson. You can just see him there. That's actually my sister-in-law. This is the first one, so we literally roped everybody in we know. That's my sister-in-law. That's my brother. That's my friend Kaylee on the drums. It was just who's free. Who doesn't need to be paid at this point? Great. Aisling B's in there as well. I don't know if you know Aisling B, the comedian, but she's in there somewhere. She read a poem at one of the first ones.
All right. I'm gonna wrap us up with one last question, and it's a pretty big one coming from Tim. He says, imagining that Sunday Assembly is still going strong 50 years in the future, what do you hope it will accomplish? In what ways do you hope it will change or evolve?
Do you know what, Tim? I almost feel like I can't answer that question because Sunday Assembly doesn't feel like it's mine anymore. So I'd sort of turn that question around and ask you what you want Sunday Assembly Atlanta to do, because even being like, I feel like each assembly has its own goals. My only hope for it personally would be that it carries on being a place where people go, I feel lost, and I need to find some people who I know that we have a fundamental, deeper connection. So you can go and you can make friends going to a running club, and you can make friends doing this, but there's something about meeting people somewhere where there's this almost spiritual, I know that word can make people hackle, spiritual, but it's like a deeper sense, a bigger sense of ourselves. So I feel like that's a really amazing offering it makes for people who go, I can't go to church, or I can't go to mosque, I can't I've never had religion, but something about it I don't like it, but I can see that there's something great about community. Certainly my only hope, it continues to be a space people can find something that fills them in a way they can't quite explain.
Okay. All right. Well, I invite everyone to give another big round of applause to our guest, Pippa Evans.
Thanks, everybody. I'm going to bed now.
Let me post the
Bye.
link to her book one more time in the chat for anyone who just came in. Let me see. Where are you? There it is. I'm going to post that down in the chat.
Bye-bye, everyone. I'm sorry I didn't get to see you, Marla. Bye.
And I will once again post the link for Life Happens down in the chat. So anyone who wants to make a little message to the group about what's going on in your life. And of course, I would like to answer the last question of where will Sunday Assembly Atlanta go 50 years in the future by saying that we're going to be doing the same thing we do every night, Pinky, try to take over the world. All right, next. It's time for our moment of mindfulness. And we're going to do a kind of a different moment of mindfulness this time. So I'm going to let Diane explain.
Thanks, Jared. So we're about to, this is kind of like leading in. So the moment of mindfulness is leading in to the icebreaker. So these are related. And so the icebreaker is going to be a group exercise. So the moment of mindfulness is going to be individual, but it's going to get your brain kind of geared up and ready for the icebreaker. So for the moment of mindfulness, you can get up and walk around or stay seated, but you're going to look at around the room at the stuff, various items, and then point to each one, but call it the wrong name. So for example, pick up a business card and say, this is a skyscraper, or, oh, look at this hibiscus. And so we'll do that for a minute. And we've got a timer that we're gonna, so you can use a real word or just make it work. A bleebledy gloop is a good one we came up with. So, all right, so we'll take 1 minute. So Jared, can you start the timer?
Here we go. Okay, well, hopefully that loosened up some neurons that we're going to need. So in the sense of improvisation, I'm going to read a prepared statement. The process of brain-to-brain and social emotional interaction makes improvisation training uniquely effective for strengthening the capacity to cope with uncertainty, manage anxiety, and boost the creative thinking that is so essential to navigating an increasingly complex world. Yeah. So for our icebreaker, well, my dog started dancing again. Pippa was talking about the game called Yes And. We're going to play Yes And. Ross, would you be able to manage breakout rooms and assign people into rooms?
Absolutely.
Okay, we'll spend about, I don't know, about 5 minutes in these rooms. We're going to play a little game. We're going to start with a statement. I'll give you a prompt so you don't have to worry about coming up with something, and it will be silly. And then I would like everyone in each breakout room to do a yes and follow with a statement. Now, it can be yes and, it can be yes but, or it could be no and, because no works. I put that in here before she even told me it was okay. So hey, so, but so, and feel free to be, and then of course whoever says the yes and, you can just toss it on to the next person. Feel free to be as dramatic and silly, because we're going to be silly here. I have picked for your start out phrase will be, my hovercraft is full of eels. So if you can say that with a Hungarian accent, my hovercraft is full of eels, and then we'll go from there. So yes, Diane put in things. So we'll go ahead and split up in our rooms and start. Ross is hitting a button. There we go. Is this our room? You're
This
muted.
is us without a room, so we can join one. Also, it's worth noting that the live stream is going to show nothing or just us as people leave.
Oh, okay.
So I'll leave a note about that in the chat for the live stream. That's just how it works.
Okay. Well, if anyone's streaming us, we could.
Would you like to just do it? And Mike, if you're here, you can do it too.
Sure. So my hovercraft is full of eels.
Yes, and they are not the best drivers, unfortunately.
No, but they all have their piloting licenses.
Yes, and I think they have like hundreds and hundreds of hours of flight time. They're certified. It's great. So I'm feeling safe.
Yes, but they're not the greatest in the world at sliding the drink cart down the aisle of the aircraft.
No, you're totally right. Like I asked for an apple juice a while ago. I've gotten nothing, so it's not going well.
Yes, but they also can't operate the credit card reader, which means we get our drinks for free.
No, actually, I'm pretty sure one of those deals asked for the cash up front, and it was like a whole thing. I didn't even know where she put it. Like, do they have pockets? Like, I don't know how it happened, but I have no more money.
I'll take an aside here to say that someone with a letter Z for their name just joined and probably has no idea what we're talking about.
Yeah, that's possible. It's possible that this is the case.
Just joining us. We're playing a brief game here of yes and. So,
Z, if you are confused, please relish in that confusion. If not, join in. When last we left our heroes, there were eels as flight attendants and pilots, maybe. And yeah, so some single letter names here. So I'm going to be kind of watching because I don't know who they are.
yeah. It also occurs to me that I did not start a timer going when we sent everyone into their room, so I'm starting one now. And
yeah, I would go for 3 minutes or something, right?
yeah.
And I hope everyone on the live stream is enjoying the brilliance of this story that we are creating. So Jared, how is the flight going for you though? Actually, yeah, where are we going? Do you even remember? I wasn't paying attention when I got on the hovercraft.
Yes, and we're going to Greenland.
Yes, I have been to Greenland literally thousands of times. I just kind of hop on any hovercraft that floats along, especially ones that are piloted and run by eels.
Yes, but there is a nice layover in Iceland on the way.
Yeah, but I've always taken the direct route. It kind of I'm really surprised that we're taking this angular thing. Are we picking someone up?
No, but the volcanoes are lovely when they're erupting.
Yes, as are the glaciers, which I know quite a bit about, and how they create a beautiful life cycle on the island. and the clear waters that you can dive into and maybe see some eels. Maybe that's why they're running this hovercraft. I just heard Ashley laughing very hard from across the home. So there's some good stuff happening in a breakout room somewhere. I mean,
I'm going to
surely it can't
broadcast a
compare to
message
this.
because I have the power to say broadcast 1 more minute.
That's very wise. That's very wise.
Okay. I will just assume.
Mm.
Yes, but the last time we rode the hovercraft to Greenland, we hit Iceland and it hit a ramp on the glacier and we were airborne for about 300 miles.
300 miles, huh? Okay. There's no way you survived that. No. How'd you get out of there?
The eels just slipped on them. The eels formed a giant sled under the hovercraft. And
Well, that's amazing. I see. This is why I'm so grateful for eel kind and what they bring to the aviation industry. And it's amazing. So I'm just so. Oh. So Z is helping out. Z is a part of this with some punnage by volume, which I'm appreciating.
And I'm going to bring everyone back here.
Well, I appreciate the
broadcast a message saying,
I'm grateful for you. Thanks, Z, for hanging out.
3, 2, 1.
Now it's going to give them a countdown too, so you don't have to wait.
Okay.
But depending on the speed by which people return, you will learn roughly how fun it was. People who hop back really quick are like, "Oh man, I got to get out of here."
Yeah, I was the worst. I was the worst.
Excellent. So Jared and I went on a trip to Iceland and then Greenland. He ramped off of a glacier and I think managed to get to Greenland. And an eel took all of my cash that I was paying for an apple juice with, because they were also flight attendants.
We ended up talking, in great depth about different types of seafood we were going to capture with our hovercraft, and order from Amazon and other things like that.
But we were stuck without power. We needed a solar-powered hovercraft, like we were promised by Elon Musk.
So we were going to create a sun.
It's the only solution.
Yeah, create a sun. Yeah.
We had a run-in with a walking eel and some eel mer people.
I need a picture of that.
We psychically communicated with sitcom-obsessed squid.
Won't lie, squid freak me out. Especially the ones watching sitcoms.
I won't tolerate this kind of bigotry in this space.
Some of my best friends are squid people.
Okay, well, I hope everyone enjoyed our moment of silliness. Our next section is what we call I'm Doing My Best.
Oh, that sucks.
This is a section of the assembly in which we invite members of the assembly to come and talk about something that's been going on in their lives that they've been working with or against or improvising in this case. In this so I've invited our friends Trey and Leslie to come talk about their attempts to improvise their way through something that's a thing to do in life that's not the easiest thing in the best of circumstances, and we're not in the best of circumstances. So let me yield the floor to Trey and Leslie.
Okay. Hey, to be sure, how long should this take?
You got 10 minutes.
Okay, cool. All right, so hi, I'm Trey. This is my partner, Leslie.
Hi.
As Jared stated, we have bought our first home back in mid-December. which if you've never purchased a home, it's like a whole process. It takes a couple months. And doing so in 2020 has not been the easiest. So like going with the theme of improvisation, there's like a lot of possibility, opportunity, but also a great deal of precariousness that comes with that. As we know, 2020 is full of a lot of people who lost their jobs, lost their homes. So while we were going through our search, we noticed that there seemed to be a great deal of homes that were listed as foreclosed. And we have, I guess, wanted to take the ethical stance of, well, we don't want to participate in or benefit from a system where people will be evicted because they lost their job, because COVID causes their workplaces to close and all of that. That created some intricacies to navigate. I want to be sure to note that we, in several ways, got very lucky last year and the year previous. We were staying with my sister, and we had a lot of guidance from my father.
And you had gotten the job, your job that you have.
Right.
That if you didn't have that, we wouldn't have been able to save up the money that we did towards the down payment and everything.
Right, definitely. Like I got it right at the beginning of March, and I was there for 2 weeks, and they told us all we work from home. So I haven't seen them since, besides on Zoom. But I was fortunate, I got a well-paying job, and over the past 10 months, we had initially when we moved in with my sister intended to, we'll be a couple months and we'll go rent another place. Then COVID hit, and so we stayed, saved up our money, and then started looking, which had its own kind of weird quirks. There were a lot of real estate agents who insisted they're not showing houses at all to anyone unless you've already been pre-approved for a loan, because you don't want to risk any chance of catching COVID by showing someone a house who might not even buy it.
Right, so we had to go back to page one, start over, and make sure we had all our finances in order, and get that pre-approval before we could even think about, okay, what house do we want, or anything like that. And then when we finally got to the point where we were actually ready to look at houses, it was very much where we would go to a house and there would be something wrong with it, or we would see that people were still living there. Or something like that. And so there were a lot of options that we were just we would go see it and be like, why is this up for grabs right this second? This shouldn't even be on the market right now. And then there were some places that we really liked, and we were like, all right, we need to put an offer in right now. And then as soon as we put the offer in, it'd be like, oh no, it's already taken. So there's a lot of holding an idea lightly and then having to drop it. A lot of that. Yeah, that's what I'm here for. But anyway, so the way we ended up getting our house was actually pretty funny, because this was a house that we came in, we looked at it, and I wrote a note to the people who were selling it so that they would kind of, I don't know, maybe pick us. And so as a little bit of extra incentive. And we really liked this house because not only did it have all the features that we wanted, and all of the problems with it was stuff that we probably would end up replacing anyway. So we found this place, and they also had at the front door, they actually had a setup for a little COVID thing with hand sanitizer and stuff to put on your shoes while you're walking around in there, and it felt really good. And we found out as we were leaving, looking at the house, that they had lived here. This was their first house that they had got, and they were specifically looking for someone who was just starting out. But so after the weekend, we found out that we had not gotten this house, which was disappointing because it was the best house we had seen. And so we started looking at houses again, and none of them compared to this one at all. And we had heard about a house that was about to go on the market, and we were told that our best option for that was to go ahead and put in an offer, because there's like a 10-day or something like that where you could like rescind your offer.
Yeah, due diligence period.
Yes, and so we put in the offer so we could go look at it. And I remember I was like taking a nap, and Travaris woke me up to tell me that we had not gotten that house, so they had already found someone else. Like no one had seen this house yet. And someone else had already gotten it. And then like as he was telling me that, our realtor called and said that the people who the buyers, that the people who were selling this house, you know, they had like something had fallen out with that, and so it didn't work out for that. And so we ended up, and they had like specifically wanted to contact us for us to like re-put our offer in for this house so that they could automatically get it. And that was like, it was like a dream come true.
Yeah, it's very fortunate. Like there are a lot of people just buying houses sight unseen, essentially.
Yeah.
Which, alongside that, well, there's always the risk of, well, some had open house, I should say, where you and a lot of other people choose a time, they arrive to check it out really quickly. And that was kind of uncomfortable if there are a lot of people wanting to see any given house at a time.
Right.
But fortunately, we finally got this house, which even after that had its own difficulties. It was a while trying to figure out the finances exactly, giving all the information about our past debts and loans and income and credit score and student loans and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But finally made it to closing, which was a good 2 hours, and the masks, no one who didn't need to be there could be there, signing 40 documents for signature. And it was ours, but then we had to figure out actually moving in, which I want to thank again all the people who showed up to actually help. It was mostly some people of Ross and Ben who had never met or spoken to prior to them showing up to help us. So again, appreciate and Dan and Misha and all the others. It's like, particularly in times like these where that kind of community assistance is really valuable. That's part of why I enjoy being part of Sunday Assembly. What did we do after that? We moved in. There's a lot of mask wearing, going to U-Haul masked up mostly.
Oh, and also one of the U-Haul places was not renting out trucks. The one that was closest to the storage wasn't renting out trucks at all. So that made it a challenge where we knew we were gonna have to, you know, because they pay for like amount of mileage that goes on it. So it's like, okay, so that's like a few extra miles that we're gonna have to pay for.
Right, yeah.
So that was another challenge.
Yeah, so it's been like I guess it's February now, so about 2.5 months that we've been here, or I guess exactly 3. I will note that it is common. You get like what do you call it, gift cards for Home Depot or Lowe's often, because I don't know how many times I've been to Lowe's and Home Depot since we moved in. But it's also kind of weird because I don't want to like go if I don't really need to. So I can be uncomfortable at times, but we've been making it work. Doing our best.
Yeah.
Please stay on brand. It's very important.
Thank you so much, guys, for sharing that. It's a great experience. I'm glad you got your dream house out of it. That's just great to know. All right. Next, we're going to move on to the Life Happens section, where we share what's been going on with all of us. And I'm going to turn the mic over to Adam. Where are you, Adam?
Here I am.
There he is.
Hello, everybody. So, I'm always excited to do this part of the assembly. So Life Happens is where we've just kind of shared some news from what's going on in our lives, good, bad, otherwise. And so if we hear some piece of good news, we like to do some claps. If there's some bad news that needs some support, we do some snaps. So, it's Life Happens, subtitle, claps and snaps. All right. So we've got 11 responses today, which is the same number as last time. So I like that. I'm going to start here with Ashley C. She says, I'm reminded of how life is a mixture of good and bad, wins and losses. I had an echocardiogram done because my doctor heard a murmur. I found out this week that the results were normal. Yay. On the flip side, those are the claps. We'll pause there, just claps. All right. On the flip side, my childhood friend lost her husband to COVID-19 this week. He left behind not only a young widow, but 2 young children. Dealing with the highs and lows can be very hard, especially during this pandemic. Trying to navigate this world during a pandemic for myself has been difficult. Trying to help my kids navigate it has been even more difficult. I'm thankful for resilient children. I'm thankful for the light at the end of the pandemic tunnel, even if it is a small light. I'm thankful to have friends and Sunday Assembly Atlanta to share these wins and losses with. So we'll do some snaps on that one, and then we'll blend them. We'll do some snaps and claps. But thanks for sharing, Ashley. All right, next up, I've got, it's me. I said lots of exciting things to share. Lily, that's our toddler, is potty training and doing well for the most part. We are very proud of her. And Ala is doing well in school. She's our older daughter. She's 11. She's getting commendations from her teachers, and we're proud of her. Paulina is furthering her career and getting more freelance work, which makes me a proud husband. And I have begun the first round of recordings for a new podcast I'll be hosting. And Ross was a part of it. He's over there excited. So, which makes me proud of myself. So Paulina and I are also proud of each other because we are proud to be considered for the Sunday Assembly Board. And we are proud to join. So lots of pride right now is what I'm getting at. So I'll take some claps for that. But yes. And next up is Paulina, my wife. She wrote that we have been extremely busy for the last few weeks, but I'm so happy with everything we do and that our time is not wasted. I'm thankful to our friends and community for allowing and helping us build the Secular Parents Group. I'm also anxious and excited to start my nursing assistant program next month. It will for sure add to our already busy schedule, but I love the opportunity to continue my education in healthcare. I finally decided what my plans are when it comes to my future career, and I know it will not be an easy road, but I'm super happy to finally see myself on the path that I chose for myself. I know that all the stuff I mentioned requires a lot of work, but it's so worth it. It is awesome to strive and work for something that you are passionate about. And lastly, I am super proud, there's that word again, thankful and excited to join Sunday Assembly Atlanta board. It is a big honor and I will treat it as such. So do some claps for that too. Thank you. Yes. All right, moving on. I've got Andy, and Andy says, at work a month or so ago, I was asked to collaborate on a small project with a colleague I'd never met. My involvement in the project grew larger, and I was told that I would be delivering a presentation on my part of this project at our town hall meeting. Well, last I checked, our town hall meetings are theoretically attended by all 75,000 employees in the company. Woo! And as a point of reference, I don't know if I've ever even seen 75,000 people, let alone spoken live to that large of an audience. So I tried to gently find I guess I'm going to see what it's like to present in front of 75,000 people equanimity that I needed to find. Fast forward to a few days before the town hall meeting, I realized that nobody had told me how long I had when I was speaking, whether I should comb my hair, etc. The day before the town hall meeting, it started to dawn on me that the town hall meeting in question was not the company-wide town hall meeting of 75,000 employees, but our division-wide town hall meeting of about 100 employees, most of whom I know. Assumptions. LOL. Let's clap for the relief you probably felt in that moment. I can only imagine. Oh, that's hilarious. Okay, number 5. Jarrett said, I had a goodbye brunch on the porch today for a friend who's moving back to Canada. I don't know how that could be interpreted a few ways. I'm gonna go with snaps on it. Let's go with, yeah, Jared's snapping. Yeah. Thanks for sharing there, Jared. Okay, Jessica says, I found a career path I want to pursue. Anyone know anyone in public policy? ? Smiley face. So, all right. We'll do some claps there for, realizing what we want to do. And I don't know anyone in public policy, but maybe some people can comment in the comments section there and let people know. Mike says, this is number 7 out of 11. Mike says, I couldn't sleep last night, so I took some Ambien and watched a Bob Dylan concert. It was like I was in Fort Collins, Colorado, 1976, out there watching him perform. No words for that other than, all right.
Right on.
Right on. Okay. All right. I added another one. This is the second one from me. All right. And this is going to be a snaps. I'm just going to tell you right now. But I don't think Paulina, she's listening right over here. I don't think I told her this, but I just recently realized that when I am on Zoom and I look down and pet Remy, my cat, who often sits on my lap, I appear as if I'm sleeping on camera. It looks like this. That's me petting her. Okay. And so I noticed this because I was featured in many tutorial Zoom videos for my work. And there I was looking as if I am sleeping during some important work videos. Even though I was listening intently and pondering the things being discussed, I did not appear that way. And so I figured I would share my embarrassment with all of you because it's possible that the same blunder of poor optics happened here with all of you, my cherished community. So I'll take some snaps on that, and I'll try. She sits on my lap a lot. I'll try not to look down so much when I'm petting her, but she's so cute. Okay, all right. Couple more here. Ross said he's excited for Pippa's book to arrive soon, for sure. Amazing guest today. That was awesome. And number 10, Ashley Silfa says, ups and downs for me this month as I worked through challenging memories and challenging present realities. Grateful for some good friends and support systems that helped catch me during some falls. Grateful to be a support system for others as they fell too. Life is a bit of a juggle, isn't it? Sometimes I feel like the juggler, sometimes I feel like the balls. Working on holding things lightly as I embody each of those. That's a perfect example of a mixture of claps and snaps, I think. Yes. Thank you, Ashley. Last one is Ben Bradley says, I still need a job. So short and sweet. We'll put some snaps on that one for Ben. Thanks for sharing. And that's it. That's Life Happens. Thank you all for sharing.
Thank you, Adam, as always, for hosting that. I do want to say, Adam, I envy your microphone. You truly look like you're a pro sitting in a sound booth, ready to take on the audio world. So,
well, I miss my real sound booth at work, but hey, it's all right.
Still,
yeah. I appreciate it. Thanks.
Okay. Now comes the part where we have our little pledge break and talk about funding. Sunday Assembly is free to attend, a nonprofit. We are 501c3. Even in lockdown and not, we still have some expenses to maintain the website and Zoom and any kind of outreach we do. And we are tax deductible for anything you would like to send our way. So if you would like to be a donor, just go to sundayassemblyatlanta.org/donate, and that will have all the options. This screen has a list of some of the things that we spend money on. And when planning this, but since Adam was talking about, we just invited him and some others onto the board. I'm not sure everyone really knows who the Sunday Assembly Atlanta board is. Ross, would you like to take a moment to speak to who is in our governing body, or just let everyone know for transparency?
Sure, I'd be happy to. And forgive me if I miss someone. With all the folks who are on our board are actually listed at sundayassemblyatlanta.org/leadership. That includes myself, the president, and also a board member, Anna, the secretary and board member, Jared, treasurer and board member, and Diane is the chair of the board, if I recall, board member, Dale, Paulina, Adam, and Brandon are all, those last three those are the newest members as of like literally a couple weeks ago. So we're very happy to have them. And did I forget somebody?
Did you mention Anna?
Did I not mention Anna? Oh my gosh.
Oh, you did. You did.
Oh, okay, he did. Okay, I just didn't hear. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
you did.
Okay. Yeah. Yes,
Okay.
and we said goodbye. And if you're on our newsletter, you already knew all this, but yeah. And then we said goodbye to Andy as a board member at the same time as we added some more.
Okay.
So we're
Just
grateful.
let everyone know who's running stuff behind the scenes. So if any of you have any thoughts or suggestions or things you'd like for the assembly to do or focus on or head, contact one of us, and we need all the ideas we can get. Different ways to donate. Okay. One more thing we have before we have the band play us out is I like to do a thing called the moment of awe, where we just move beyond the feelings of the moment and just really feel, the sense of the grandeur and the wonder of the universe. And for this month, I just want to all take a moment and focus on the word itself, awe. So I'm going to count down to 3, and everyone say awe. 1, 2, 3.
Oh.
Aw. Okay. Announcements. Let me see. We have our anti-racism action group coming up Tuesday, March 2nd. Do you want to speak about this one, Anna? Or who wants to explain what's going on with this group?
I'm doing the book club.
Book club. Anyone want to speak to the anti-racism action group? Who else?
I can say some words about it.
Okay.
Hey, every 2 weeks we meet, and it's a structured hour where we say, hey, here's what we're coming in with. Here is what we have been doing and what we plan to be doing in the vein of anti-racist learning, education, activism, action, and then we close out. And that's the idea. So if you are so moved, a lot of us got activated and moved, in recent years over the summer. And this is a way to create a kind of an accountability space to kind of keep that pulse.
Okay. Another event we have going on is the Feminist Book Club, which Anna, you want to talk about what we're gonna, what your reading?
Yeah. That's happening on the 27th of February at 11 a.m. And we're reading Wolfpack by Abby Wambach. How to come together, unleash our power, and change the game. So hope you can join us.
Okay. And we have our Secular Parents Community Group, which is a new big thing we've started since lockdown began, I believe, and is going strong. Run by the Greenlees, if you want to talk about that for a second.
Yes. So the Secular Parents Community Group is a parents group where we want to invite anyone who wants to join. We do focus on parenting issues, but we do it through a secular lens. We discuss parenting topics and share resources, and it's just a great connection to be a part of. So, and we have different topics every month that we sort of discuss. This month's topic for this meeting that's coming up on the 25th is actually going to be preparing for sex ed, for teaching our kids about that stuff. So it's going to be interesting and cool. And then we have some other events too.
Yes, so whoever's interested, they can join also our Facebook group, particularly for the secular parents. And we have some kids event coming up. We have a painting class and story and craft time, and we'll have some other stuff coming up too next month. So yeah, so join us. And also we also have Discord for more private conversations and stuff if people want to join. So
Okay.
everybody's welcome.
If you wouldn't mind, would y'all put the link to the Facebook group in the chat in case anyone wants to hop over there?
Sure thing. Yeah.
Okay. We have several regular mindfulness meditation groups, which meet at various times during the month on a weekly basis. Ashley, do you want to say a couple words? Yeah.
Absolutely. A quick update to that is the Monday night mindfulness meditation is now every other Monday at 7:30. So just to make it nice and confusing for everybody. But that is tomorrow. So for anyone else who wants to join us, that'll be tomorrow at 7:30. And I know Joanne is still open to and hosting the Wednesday evening. That is, I believe, every Wednesday at 7 p.m.
Okay. And our community action team. Anything going on with that right now, Ross?
Hey, if you want to help out other community members, whether it's someone needs urgent help, someone's moving, life transition stuff, all that kind of stuff. We have a history of helping folks move. Actually, when Trey and Leslie were talking, I shared a photo I took, of that day, and you could see Trey, Leslie, myself, and of course Ben hanging out at the garage after we moved in a whole bunch of stuff. We weren't the only ones who helped out that day, but that was where I could snap a pic. So it's that kind of stuff. Just ping me. We have a little Slack channel where we coordinate stuff just every once in a while when someone needs help.
Okay, and lastly, I'm going to invite Diane to talk about the Food for Life volunteering opportunity.
Okay, yeah, Food for Life is an organization that is delivering food to people who are high risk for COVID, so they would otherwise go out to a food bank, but that's dangerous because they have health conditions or whatever. And so it's a food bank, but the food is delivered, and so they need people to deliver food, and they also need people to pack the boxes at the depot or whatever. So they give you you go to this website and sign up, and it's all very organized. They give you a Google map of your route, and you're like drop off to 5 people. And people are very nice and extremely happy to see you because they need that food. So, but if you have any more questions about it, you can email me, Diane, at SundayAssemblyAtlanta.org.
Okay. Well, we're about to have one more song as we say goodbye and have everyone hang out who wants to chat for a while. But I want to thank everyone for coming out. We've had a great assembly this evening, I think. We've had a bunch of people show up and some great participation. I'm glad to hear and see everybody again for a month. So I don't like the word rerun. So this is an encore presentation of a song that the band recorded some time ago, and it was probably one of the craziest videos we've made. So I am just happy and delighted to share this with you again. This is our rendition of the Steve Miller Band song, Space Cowboy. I bet you weren't ready for that.
Okay.
Let me see, make sure.
Shout out to Jared for emceeing and running this whole show this time.
I told you about it in the US of A. Don't you know that I'm against terminal love?
Let me tell you people that I found a new way, and I'm tired of all this talk about love and the same old story with a new set of words about the good and the bad and the poor. And the times keep on changing, so I'm keeping on time. Move every backhand who wants to my door. I'm a space cowboy. Bet you aren't ready for that. I'm a space cowboy. I'm sure you know where it's at. Yeah, 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 yeah. I was born on this rock and I've been traveling through space since the moment I first realized what all you fast talking cats would do if you could. You know I'm ready for the final surprise. There ain't no way around it, ain't nothing to say that's gonna satisfy my soul deep inside. All the prayers and surrenders keep my own place of time, and it keeps on getting darker outside. I'm a space cowboy. Bet you weren't ready for that. I'm a space cowboy. I'm sure you know where it's at. Yeah, 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 yeah. Slow down, lost and bounce, turn around the boys in the printed shirts. I keep my eyes on the prize, on the long called skies, and I don't let my friends get hurt. All you backroom schemers, Star Trek dreamers, better find something new to say. 'Cause it's the same old story, it's the same old crime, and you got some heavy dues to pay. I'm a space cowboy. Bet you weren't ready for that. I'm a space cowboy. I'm sure you know where it's at. Yeah, 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 yeah. Thank y'all for coming to Sunday Assembly. Anyone wants to hang out, stick around, and we'll see everybody next month. Sign us out.
Thanks, Jared.
Thank you. Thank y'all.
Thanks, Jared.
See y'all later.
See you guys.
Okay.
Bye.
Have a good week, everyone.
Thank you.